guys, share out the live. I am not being pushed out.
Sometimes the world can be a cruel place, and everything feels too hard to face. Sometimes this life is just too much. Deadlines, bills, and a world out of touch.
You want to join me today? The guest box is open. Friendlies are invited.
Days ain't nice. A little laughter, a listening ear, words of praise and good cheer. Somewhere that feels familiar and safe. With open arms and warm embrace. Auntie's here. Come on in, sugar. Sit right down. Auntie's here.
So lose that frown
He's gonna help you make it through.
with a cup of kindness and a word or two.
Let it out, sugar, if you need to cry.
I'm not crying today. I cried last week. I'm not allowed to cry this week.
Come and stay with Auntie for a while. Auntie's here. Auntie's here. Auntie's here. Auntie's here. Honey,
You got nothing to fear.
Auntie's here. Auntie's here. Auntie's here.
She makes your troubles disappear. Laugh until we start to cry. Talk about the reasons why. Something's real and something's gone.
She'll always meet you right where you are. So grab the note and grab the pen. You'll want to take notes when she begins. On Auntie's couch, there's plenty of space, and we learn something new every day.
Leave your worries, leave your fears, and let your I literally have no restrictions on my account, and I can never get pushed out to the FYP just for going live. They tell you be consistent, go live consistent, meet your gift goal. I do all those things, and I cannot get pushed out. And I want a new agency, but it's such a pain. I don't know if you guys know anything about agencies, but you have to give your agency notice, and then they have 30 or 90 days that it takes for them to drop you before you can go find a different agency. And I just haven't found one that really can do anything. I would do everything.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of people are having that issue. I don't know what's up with the app and but yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people complain about that, or even videos getting properly pushed out unless you're promoting something, or yeah, which is just really a shame.
Because I would think, okay, maybe I just don't make good content, I'm a reasonable person. Maybe I think that, I'm making good content, and I'm not, but that's not true, because once we get started, people start pouring in here when they realize I'm live, and they'll say, oh, I didn't get a notification. Oh, you were on my FYP. And so it's not that they don't want to watch the show, because they come in here once they realize I'm here, So I don't know what it is. I don't expect to get 300 people, but I usually can get, anywhere from 40 to 100 on a normal day, but it just takes so long and so much work.
It really does, but I've noticed when we start like discussing in between us and like getting into different topics or like just giving it, sometimes that like people will start coming in. That seems to like make it like onto, I don't know, but I've realized like when we do that, often we'll have like people come in and start commenting on stuff and wanting to come up. So I guess.
True.
But yeah, I
And
don't know.
like, I think I can send things out to ask people to come guest. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to invite a couple of people to come guest with us. See if any of them show up. All right, I sent out some guest requests to see if any of my friends want to come over and hang out with us. I don't know what that's about. I know that Mama Bash sends them to me sometimes, so I'm like, oh, some kind of new option. This is what it says. I just want you guys to know this is literally on my screen right now. It says increase estimated 217 people. Like they will add 217 people to my live for just $30. So they literally want me to pay them to get viewers.
Yeah, I was literally watching a video earlier of somebody who's a creator in France, and she was talking not so much about like, her live, but even in her videos, where she's like, I spend time making these videos and put effort into it and everything, and they don't go out, and then you'll see these other videos they're just promoting stuff again or and those go out and like have like however many views. It's a bit. And she was comparing like where she does these videos where she'll talk about topics and stuff, and then other videos where she was talking about these markers that she got from the TikTok shop, and obviously that video had a lot of views on it, and the other ones where she's like talking about really interesting stuff don't. So
yeah, they just want us to pay them now to push our videos and push our content. So I mean, obviously there are creators who get views without that. I mean, so if I was as cute as like maybe Joel or Mezzo or Justin,
or Dogway.
yeah, or Dogway. Or Dogway.
I know, she's so damn cute. You're not spoiled, are you? No.
Not at
she looks
all.
so happy right now getting
Oh,
pet.
she is. This is her spa spot.
What a good
It's
girl.
ridiculous.
Yes.
But she's such a good girl. I don't know what I'd do without her. Huh. I know.
I do have an Auntie sermon this morning, but I just like to get at least 20 people in here. So we're going to keep doing this stuff. Keep sharing out the live. Keep tapping the screen. You know, if you haven't sent a heart me, please send me a heart me. And then collect your points too, because that boosts us in the daily rankings, which pushes up the line. You know, but today, my sermon we're going to do is on ornament and shadow. It's one of my favorite sermons, but I did an extended edition of it. It's about Ada and Zilla. And if you don't know who they are, it's because your pastor was a misogynist. That's all. That's what I'm saying. Okay. All pastors are misogynists in my book. Or they wouldn't be pastors. Just pretty simple.
Like the one this morning that decided to tell me, well, you wear those earrings and you're not supposed to be in witchcraft or you're gonna go and burn for eternity. I said, I'd rather burn for eternity than listen to you fucking spewing your nasty shit to me. And he got really pissed off, and I said, I really don't give a fuck. Can fuck right off.
Yeah, fuck off.
Like the wild shit that they want to take power over women, and then women want to, MAGA women, want to give up their right to vote. God, it just, fuck. It just irks me.
I know. It was very hard. Very hard isn't even the word. I did not celebrate the 4th of July. Like, I don't even know how, it just actually kind of, it just made me nauseated to even think about it. Like, Independence Day, you mean the day that we solidified the fact that we were stealing all this land from the indigenous people out here? Is that what we're talking about? Huh. I don't know. I just don't feel like anybody's independent right now. I feel that like we live in almost like a monarch, a monarchy. I don't know what a monarch, a kingdom, if you will. To be honest, I think it's like, I think I slowly kind of like around COVID time, I celebrated it less and less and less. You know what I mean? But then this year, I actually cried because I'm 60. Man, I'm not supposed to cry every episode, am I? Is that my new thing? Okay, I'm sorry. Let me gather myself for a second.
I get it though, like what's happening and just seeing. Like I've got this benefit of like seeing it from the inside and the outside at the same time, because my mom's American, obviously. I spent every summer of my life in the US. If you put every summer I spent back to back, it makes about like 6 or 7 years of my life spent in the US. And I grew up with American culture, and I remember from like the exterior, I grew up when everybody wanted to go to the US, right? My classmates were like, one day I'll go to Miami and New York, and it was like the US was the goal, right? That is not the case anymore at all. Like, no. The international, like, it's getting worse and worse. And I was looking at like just so much stuff, like what happened with the football, the World Cup, where that there was a red
Card?
Card given against one of the players, and Trump made a phone call, made a phone call, and now that's gone.
Yep.
I don't know if they realize how the rest of the world is going to take that, because it feels like the US is like, oh, football's so amazing. We've been doing this forever now. Like, this is the sport of like mostly the rest of the world. That's not going to go down well. Nothing of this is going down well. And then
none of it is going down well. We look so shitty. I hate it.
Horrible. And people are just tired of this. Like, we're so much better. We're going to fix everything. We're going to go. Just stop. What are you doing? Why?
Just stop.
You're just one country. What the heck? Who do you think you are? Like, that's the kind of like, image of the exterior. And then when you speak to people, not everyone on the US, you have this like exceptionalism. Like, we're so amazing, we're this, everybody wants to be like. No, we do not want to be like you.
Here's really quick. First of all, real quick, if everybody, I just need 4 people to send me 1 rose. 4 different people, if you could send me 1 rose, it'll help me reach my flash goal. I was 10 years old in 1976. And in 1976, I was very disillusioned. I was very privileged. I was a white kid growing up in white suburban America. And I didn't know that that was a thing. I didn't know that there was a white, suburban America, right? I thought, oh no, we're all not, racist. We're not bigots. We're all not that, right? And in 1976, the whole world celebrated America for our bicentennial. I mean, the whole year we celebrated. We had 1776 to 1976 on everything. We had coins. We had, McDonald's memorabilia. We had, it was everywhere. People were excited. They were so happy, and everything. And obviously, not everybody was, because I'm stupid first of all, I was indoctrinated. I was a Christian, so let's just figure that all out, right? So I believe this is the world we're living in. I believe this is the world everybody in America is living at the time, because I'm 10 and I'm privileged. I did not know that 50 years later, I would think I live in one of the most evil countries in the world. We have the power and the resources to make real changes on a global scale. And we put a 34-time felon in the office instead. And I don't know what to do with those feelings sometimes. I really don't.
I get it. I think my mom also, it's hard for her. She gave up her national, her U.S. citizenship a few years back. I'm thinking for different reasons. One was because neither my brother or I live in the U.S., so when my parents are not here anymore, it was also protecting us from having to pay quantities of money to a country we don't actually have anything to do with. But it's all it's also everything that's going on. And as she's glad she doesn't have her nationality anymore, but when I've talked to her about it, she's just so sad. And my mom's family is just so opposed to all of this. Was always Democrats were. My grandfather fought for getting schools to be for black people to be able to go to the same schools as white kids where they lived. And so she grew up with somebody who was fought for that and had those ideals and wanted a better world in general. And yeah, she's heartbroken by this all, and it's just really hard to look at and deal with. And so I get it. It's just really sad.
It is really sad. It's really sad to have been fighting for the same rights for all these years, thinking that you've earned rights that you didn't have, thinking that democracy is safe, and realizing it's so fucking fragile, and that we're not anywhere near where I thought we were in equality, or, in just being a good, loving nation. What the fuck is that so bad to want, that I live in a nation that actually fucking cares about humans? I don't know, man. It sucks. I have helped a few people start to understand some things, and I guess that should give me some hope that if I am doing that, and you all are out there talking to people, that maybe we're out there making a difference and changing the way people look at things. I've talked to people recently, and I've been explaining to them, listen, you keep thinking that if we give money to people who need it by giving them, children free lunches while they're at school, or find shelter for the unhoused, or fill our food banks with food or whatever, you think that we're going to have to make some new taxes for that. And what we're trying to tell you is they're going to tax you no matter what. Now start telling them what you want them to do with those tax dollars, because you're going to be taxed. But I want the tax to go to feed kids, not feed wars. That's what I want. And if you want it to feed wars, you and I are not the same. They're going to take the money no matter what. I just don't want them to use it for wars. And you think I'm a bad person because I want them to feed kids a lunch instead of bomb a child in Gaza.
That is one of the things that is the weirdest to look at from the exterior. It's in Switzerland, our social like help and everything is pretty good. I mean, it's not the best ever, and right now they're taking money away from the people on social benefits instead of taking it from somewhere else because that's happening everywhere, I think. But we still have like a safety net there, and we know that our taxes pay for this, and we know that it benefits everyone because fine if you're doing great and have a job and are making lots of money, but you don't know what tomorrow is made of. You could potentially end up in a situation where you also need to ask for social benefits, and that protects all of us. We pay for our health insurance, and like it's not huge in huge quantities, and we have like we'll get health, like we can go to the hospital and they will treat us, and we don't end up with bills that are going to ruin our life afterwards. And when like the whole like being against socialism so much, it's just astounding to most people in Europe, because why would you be against that? Like, this is helping everyone. It makes things better.
Right.
Why is everyone so scared? And then it's like they put socialism and communism in the same basket. And you're like, that's not the same thing. Why?
They're just so dumb that they don't realize that insurance companies and the medical industry have paid billions of dollars to keep them stupid about it, and paid billions of dollars for propaganda to be created that says, no, you don't want that. Universal health care will make you have to wait in lines. Bitch, we're already waiting in lines. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I mean, when I see people like talking about their experience in the US with hospitals and healthcare and everything, and I'm like, I would rather go to my hospital and wait for like, even on bad days, have to wait the whole freaking night there and know I'm going to get treated, rather than, and not, and be able to actually go on living afterwards. And if I don't have the money to like pay, like I can ask for social help and stuff and have that paid for me. Like, then the US, no one here understands that. And it's crazy. Like, I'll see videos of people from the US talking about things like that, and it's like, you don't understand what you're saying, and like the way you look at like Europe and like different places, oh, it's this and that, and you're like, no, it's not. Who told you this? Why do you believe this? And instead of like going and looking it up for yourself.
Yeah, like
it's
Planned
very bizarre.
Parenthood. They want to close all the Planned Parenthoods down. It's like, hello, I get my screenings there. If I were to go to a regular clinic, I'm waiting 3 fucking months. I'm waiting. I don't want to fucking wait. I don't want to goddamn wait. But, well, then maybe you should get, it's always, you ought to get a fucking job. And it's like, I have a goddamn job.
What are they talking about? I have insurance, and it took me 2 years from about the time I had an injury to figuring out that I had something that I needed to go to the doctor for, because at first I just thought, hey, Adam, if you want to come up, you're more than welcome. Good to see you guys. Make sure you're following Adam. He is another great creator in the deconstruction community. You guys, I think I need one more heart me, and I'll reach the flash goal. And I also, if you have a donut, or if you can send a donut, I'm trying to light up my gift gallery today. Anyway, I have good insurance, and it took me almost 2 years to get a fucking operation for a torn rotator cuff, and I have very good insurance. So fuck you. We have jobs, we have insurance, we have it all, and we still can't get to a doctor. So fuck you.
Yeah, and part of my paycheck goes towards to pay for things like to help out with insurance and shit. Like, and it goes towards Social Security. It goes towards things. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're so goddamn. It fucking pisses me off.
I need one more heart me. If anybody can send a heart me, that would be great. Let's update this. I'm trying this new thing. Mom and Bash always gets her gift goal lit up, so I'm gonna try to light up my gift goal today. So we're trying different gifts today. All right, you guys, I know there's only 12 of you in here, But let's go ahead and get started because this is a good fucking sermon. And this will be, I will be putting up, thank you. I will have a new episode this week and an extended edition, but I think the extended edition that will be up on the podcast this week is the Cain's wife, the woman God didn't bother to name, extended edition. So you guys can check that out later this week, okay? But for today, we're going to talk about ornament and shadow. So here we go. Oh, wait, there's my gift girl. My gift girl. We're going to pin that. All right. Here we go. By the way, if you are a moderator and a friendly request up while I'm doing the sermon, go ahead and bring them up. If it is not somebody we know, then just leave them in the guest box. We'll take guests when I get done with the sermon, okay? Okay. Genesis 4:19. Lamech took 2 wives. The name of the one was Ada, and the name of the other was Zillah. That's all we're given. 2 women enter the story with names and almost nothing else. We don't know their origin story. We know nothing about the details of their lives. We don't know their voices, but names matter in Scripture. Names are never accidental. So if the text will not tell us who these women were, then we will begin with what it did preserve, their names, and what those names were meant to make us see. Ada, ornament. Ada's name means ornament, adornment, something beautiful, something that enhances what already exists. An ornament is not the structure, does not decide where the house is built. It does not choose its place. An ornament is added after the important decisions are made. That tells us something. Ada is introduced not as a thinker, not as a speaker, not as a chooser, but as something that adds value to a man's world. And yet, let's look at what flows through her. Through Ada come music and culture. She gives us song, art, the very essence of creativity. She gives us the things that make life worth living. The Bible traces the origins of music through her body and then refuses to let her speak. Ada is treated as decoration, but she carries civilization. That contradiction should stop us cold. Because the story is telling us something the text never says out loud. Women are often credited only for how they enhance men, even when they are the ones creating the world everyone else inhabits. Zillah, shadow. Zillah's name means shadow, shade, cover. A shadow exists so someone else doesn't have to feel the full heat. A shadow absorbs. A shadow protects. A shadow disappears when the light moves. Zillah is not named for beauty. She is named for endurance. Zillah comes from the Hebrew word tzel, which means shadow, shade, shelter, protection from heat or danger. This word is used elsewhere in the Hebrew Bible. I'm sorry. You guys, hang on. Wrong sermon. Wrong sermon. Hang on. I had my extended edition, and then I had the one that was not extended. Well, now I'm going to go ahead and finish that one, but that's not the extended edition. And the reason I'm going to go ahead and finish that one is because I don't think that the extended edition one is actually quite finished. So we'll do this one today. And on Wednesday, I'll read the extended edition so you'll hear a little bit more on Wednesday. Or I could do it next week so you guys get something new on Wednesday. Okay, wait, where was I? Shadow, huh? Let's go back to Zillah. All right, I felt like this was missing something already. And I was like, wait, I thought I put a little bit more in here. Okay, it's because it's not the extended edition. Zilla's name means shadow, shade, cover. A shadow exists so someone else doesn't have to feel the full heat. A shadow absorbs, a shadow protects, a shadow disappears when the light moves. Zilla is not named for beauty. She is named for endurance. Zilla comes from the word root cell, which means shadow, shade, shelter, protection from heat or danger. And this is how I knew that this wasn't the special edition, because I explained the spelling and the pronunciation of that word better in the new edition. And I was like, wait, how come I'm not explaining that? It's spelled T-S-E-L, and so you kind of have to put a little t in the front of it. You can't, so you put a little t in the instead of just cell. So anyway, onward. This word is used elsewhere in the Hebrew Bible positively, especially in phrases like the shadow of the Almighty, Psalm 91. Shade from the sun, refuge in harsh conditions. So Zilla is not endurance in the sense of suffering silently forever. She is what makes survival possible. And through Zilla come tools, metal, industry, technology, the hard work of survival, the infrastructure of daily life. Weapons and tools come from her lineage, and still she remains unseen. Zilla carries the weight of progress, but her name tells us she is meant to stay in the background, not admired, not centered, just useful. How many women recognize that role? The wife who holds everything together, the co-worker who absorbs the heat when something goes wrong, the one whose labor is invisible until it's gone. Ornament and shadow together. Ada and Zilla are not rivals. The text never pits them against each other, but patriarchy does. Adornment and shadow, beauty and burden, seen and unseen. Two roles, both restrictive. Two functions, neither whole. Together they show us how women are sorted, not by who they are, but by what they provide. Why these women should have been the center of the story. If we are honest readers of the text, then Ada and Zilla should have been the stars of this story, because everything that comes next depends on them. Culture flows through Ada. Survival flows through Zilla. Music and tools, art and labor, joy and endurance. Civilization itself passes through their bodies, and the text moves on as if that is unremarkable. A man gets the poem. The women are merely his captive audience. The women are silenced. That silence is not emptiness, it is erasure. And erasure teaches generations of readers what to expect, what their names did to the Jewish memory. For ancient readers, names taught roles. Ada taught women to be pleasing. Zilla taught women to be useful. Neither taught women to be free. The names told daughters what was expected of them long before anyone spoke a command. Be beautiful, be supportive, be quiet, be useful, be gone when necessary. What their names can mean to us now. We don't have to let these names remain in cages, because a name doesn't have to mean what it was used for. A name can be reclaimed. Ada means ornament. And patriarchy taught us that an ornament is something decorative, something extra, something optional. But that's a lie born of insecurity, because an ornament is not meaningless. An ornament is the thing your eye is drawn to. It is the detail that completes the whole. It is what makes something memorable. If you see a Christmas tree with no ornaments, you call it a tree. Nobody puts a Christmas tree in their house without ornaments, because it would just look silly and waste space. If you see a classic Rolls Royce without its hood ornament, you would notice that right away. As a matter of fact, I've gone to many car shows in my life because I own a classic car, and those hood ornaments are highly sought after. If you look on eBay right now, they go for around $1,800. My first car was a used '68 Mustang we purchased in 1982. I don't think we paid much more than that for the whole car. That ornament is not extra. It is iconic. It is the symbol. It is the thing people recognize. It is the part that says this is not just functional, this is art. Ada was not made to decorate a man's life. She was made to add value to all lives. She is art. And the text proves it. Music, art, culture, joy, all of it flows through her. Not because she was ornamental, but because she was the mother of creativity. Ada is not something added on at the end. Ada is the reason the world felt worth living in the first place. Zilla, shadow, reclaimed. Zilla's name means shadow, and patriarchy taught us to hear that word and think invisible, forgotten, standing quietly behind someone else. But that is not how shadows work. When you live in someone else's shadow, you are unseen. But when you are the shadow, it is because your presence is so large, so solid, so undeniable that it blocks the light. Shadows are not cast by weakness, they are cast by substance. A shadow exists because something real is standing there. Zilla is not hidden because she is small. She is a shadow because she is vast. And look at what comes from her. From Zilla comes tools, metal, labor, the work of hands, the infrastructure that makes survival possible. Everything we build, everything we repair, everything that advances human life beyond mere existence flows through her lineage. We eat because of her, we build because of her, we survive because of her. Our very purpose, the work we do, the skills we learn, the way we shape the world comes from her. We do not stand in Zilla's shadow because she disappeared. We stand in her shadow because of the enormity of what she represents. Her presence is what shelters us. Her work is what holds us. Her shadow is not absence, it is evidence. Zilla was never meant to vanish. She was meant to loom. Adornment and shadow reclaimed. Adornment and shadow are not opposites. They are partners. Beauty and refuge, joy and shelter, creation and protection. Together they form a world people can actually live in. Ada makes it beautiful. Zilla makes life survivable. That is not small. That is not secondary. That is foundational. These women are not roles, they were forces. And I want to pause here not to move away from the text, but to tell you why this matters to me. Because this is not just an ancient story, this is a pattern I recognize. And if I'm honest, I didn't always have the language for it, but I felt it long before I could name it. So this is my story. In my life, I have been interrupted, silenced, dismissed, and at times outright threatened by men. The man who groomed me was a musician. I say was because I prefer to pretend he doesn't exist. That makes things easier for me. He was never threatened by other men looking at me, not because I wasn't stunning. I was a little haughty when I was younger. I may not have been a supermodel or anything, but I was cute. And that never bothered him. He liked it. I was his arm candy. What really got to him, however, was that when we walked into a room, the attention followed me. Not because I was beautiful, but because I had presence. The kind of presence you can't manufacture. The kind you either have or you don't. I had Zilla's shadow, and he stood in it, and he hated that. I supported his work, and I don't think I need to convince any of you this. You know me. If I love you, I show up, I promote you, I praise you. I am your biggest fan. But he never did that for me. Instead, he was afraid that I would become famous before he did. And here's the irony. I wasn't even chasing fame. That's how fragile his ego was. And we've all seen a man with a fragile ego. I wasn't a musician. I wasn't an actress. I wasn't a model. I wasn't doing anything designed to make me famous. He was. One day, he gave me a pin. It was one of those old buttons from the 60s or 70s, and it said, "Almost Famous." It was his. He bought it for himself, but he gave it to me. And I don't think it was out of kindness. I don't think it was out of affection. I think it was a warning. I think it was a reminder. A way to make sure I always knew I wasn't famous. So every time I looked at it, I would remember my place. But let me reassure you something. He is not famous, and I never wanted to be. What scared him wasn't my ambition. It was my presence. Bringing Lamech back. And now we bring it back to Lamech. For most of history, this story has been told as Lamech's story. A violent man, a loud man, a man who bragged, a man who took up space, a man who demanded an audience. And people kept looking at him as if he were the point. But he was never the point. He was just the noise. The real story was happening beside him the entire time. Two women, two bodies, two lives through whom the future was born. Ada and Zillah didn't just support civilization, they created it. Music, tools, labor, craft, the things that move humanity forward came through them. And yet a man who killed and boasted became the headline, while the women who changed the world became the footnotes. That pattern didn't end in Genesis. We know women whose discoveries were credited to men, women whose ideas were published under male names, women whose labor built industries while men collected praise. Like Rosalind Franklin, whose X-ray images revealed the structure of DNA, while Watson and Crick took her data, published first, and walked away with the Nobel. Or Lise Meitner, who explained nuclear fission, while Otto Hahn accepted the Nobel Prize alone and history forgot her name. Or Jocelyn Bell Burnell, who discovered pulsars, while her male supervisor, Anthony Hewish, was awarded the Nobel for her work. And the list goes on. And the list is endless. Same pattern, different century, same silence. The Bible establishes a pattern still used today to discredit women. Lamech was allowed to be loud. The women were expected to be productive. He was remembered for his violence. They were forgotten for their brilliance. So if this sermon does anything, let it do this. Let it shift your attention away from the men who take credit, away from the men who dominate the story, away from the men who never should have had the microphone, and back to the women whose work made the future possible, even when history refused to say their names. Because Ada and Zillah don't exist in a vacuum. They existed in a world ruled by a man who never should have had the floor, Lamech. A man who introduced polygamy. A man who committed murder. A man who bragged about it. A man who turned violence into poetry and called it legacy. And the text says, Lamech said to his wives, which means they had to listen. They were a captive audience to a man who would not shut the fuck up about himself. A man who mistook power for importance. A man who believed his voice mattered more than their lives. He didn't sing about them. He didn't thank them. He didn't honor what flowed through their bodies and labor. He rammed his story down their throats. His violence, his ego, his self-importance. And the Bible records their silence, not because they had nothing to say, but because patriarchy never gave them permission to answer. And every woman listening to this knows exactly what it feels like. We know what it is to sit while a man drones on, to nod, to endure, to be told to listen because he's the authority, because he's called, because he's chosen, because he's behind the pulpit, because he has the microphone, because he's in power. Women have been forced to listen to men ramble on about nonsense for centuries. In churches, in homes, in workplaces, and in marriages. And just like Ada and Zilla, we are told our silence is respect, our endurance is virtue, our listening is obedience. But forced listening is not holy. It is control. And the cruelty of this story is not just that Lamech spoke, it is that the women who were wiser, stronger, more creative, and more life-giving than he were required to sit quietly and absorb him. That is patriarchy in its purest form. Not simply that men speak, but that women are pushed out of the spotlight so men never have to share it, and women are forced to listen. And if that is how the power dynamic was built, then the way we dismantle it is not complicated. It is intentional. We change it by choosing who we center, by choosing who we name, by choosing who we make visible. We stop treating women as footnotes and start treating them as the story. We reclaim the names that were buried. We tell the truth about who built the world. We say the names out loud again and again until they are no longer forgotten. Not almost famous, not standing beside someone else's legacy, but known, recognized, credited. If men have been allowed to dominate history by taking the spotlight, then the correction is this. We put women there on purpose. We amplify their work, we repeat their names, we give them credit in public, we let them overshadow the men who were never meant to be the focus in the first place. Because the future does not change when we keep staring at the same loud men. The future changes when women reclaim their names. When adornment becomes admiration. When women are no longer treated as decoration, but as a thing you cannot ignore. The star at the top of the tree that casts the shadow, the focal point, the presence that defines the whole. And when shadow becomes power, when men finally learn to stand in the shadow of women they once dismissed, silenced, and took credit from, not because women are invisible, but because their presence is that vast. That is how the future changes, when we stop centering the noise and start amplifying the voices of the mothers of creativity, ingenuity, and humanity. And that's today's Auntie Sermon.
That was really nice. I like that one.
And I do have an extended version where I get in detail more.
I really can't wait to
didn't
hear
know-
the extended version too.
I realized, like, I did it. Hey, Jerry Bell, did you want to come up? Anybody who wants to come up can come up. Now, I saw people requesting when I was doing the sermon, but it's hard for me to do it when I'm doing the sermon. I lose my place.
It's weird. I have I'm mod here, so I didn't see anyone. Like, it didn't pop up and say.
I think Karhu requested, and then there was Ops, but I didn't want them to come up anyway, so that didn't matter. That they were not going to get to come up. No matter what, they weren't coming up. Oh my goodness, it's going to be a heat wave here today, so I don't know. I don't know how long I'll be able to do this. Hopefully my fans aren't too loud. I turned one of them off to kind of quiet it down in here, but
No, you can't hear the fans at all. You can hear you.
Okay,
we hear
good.
you really clearly. So.
Okay, good. Hey, Jerry Bell, how are you?
I'm good. What you doing? I know what you're doing. Never mind. Oh my
Hey,
gosh.
Douglas.
It is hot.
It really is. It's, yeah, heat wave in my county today, which can mean anything. I live in one of the largest counties in America, so sometimes they'll say, this is happening in your county, and I'm like, where?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? I live in a huge county. Is that affecting me or not? I need to know.
You mean like the air quality?
No, like we have a heat index, and so today it's going to be super freaking hot somewhere in my county, but I don't know where. I'm just assuming I'm going to be a part of it.
So I'm just getting over bronchitis, and I was looking up, ways to help yourself get through it. And it said that really hot, like if it's real windy, like it's blowing around the pollution, that is worse when it's super hot. And like it can actually make your bronchitis worse. So I'm like, great. Now I can't even go outside. Except
Yeah,
it's 5 o'clock in the
that's
morning.
true. Yeah, actually,
So,
our air quality can get pretty bad, especially if there's fires. Because I'm so sorry you didn't have power, Noah's. I'm glad you made it to your sister's house safely. Hopefully, you guys get power pretty soon, because that would suck. We get air quality days too here, and so on those days, you have to kind of close up your house, especially if there's fires, because the smoke and stuff gets in your house, and it's horrible. Sucks.
so wait, how do you, like, can it get through I mean, you just mean like close your windows, keep the doors
Yeah, you have to
closed.
close. Yeah, you have to close. Like, even if it's cool outside and I can finally open up, my doors or whatever, I can't. They'll say,
Yeah.
nope, close up your house today. There's too much soot and ash and stuff. So it sucks.
So do you have air cleaners? Like I have a couple of little air cleaners I've gotten. I don't know how effective they are, but they're just,
No, I think we have something that Doug does in our central system, because I know he's always changing out the filters and stuff, but I don't think we have little private. I don't think any of our things that we have in here are air cleaners. I don't think so.
I just have a couple of little ones, and every time I change the filter, it's, it like it has a little light on it and it tells you when to change it. So
Oh,
like
that's cool.
once every 30 days or so, it'll go off. It'll shine red, and I'll have to open it up and clean it off. But that helps. But I just was surprised when I read everything, about, uh, what causes it and how you can, help your body get over it, over the bronchitis. Um, I knew it was bad for air quality, pollution, all that was bad, but I didn't realize, like, when it's windy, like it's blowing all that pollution around even more. Like you don't even have your safe zones, like where you don't think it's polluted, the air is polluted, because it's just so, like, yeah, I just quit going outside when it was super hot and windy. I just had to stay inside, and it's been boring as hell.
Yeah, I'll bet that does suck, man, especially during the summer and stuff. You're like, no, I want to go outside, get a little sun,
Yeah.
do something.
Well, we have the swimming pool that I go to from 10:30 to 12, and it's only adult swim, so it's like this lazy river lagoon thing,
I like that.
and it's so fun. And I was like, I'm not skipping that. I have to go to that. I have to get some kind of exercise.
Yeah.
So
I love the lazy river. I lived in a small town in Kansas, and they had a recreational center there that had a whole little water park area and stuff, and they had a lazy river. But they did the coolest thing, and if I ever find a class like this again, I'm joining it immediately. Oh, wow, so cool. Thank you. 23, amazing. It was, like, the water park's closed down, so the lazy river is just run by one of their lifeguards or whatever, and she's the fitness instructor. So you meet her at the lazy river, and then she turns the jets on. But we would do a workout walking against the current. So we would have water weights and stuff. And let me tell you, it was a serious workout. Walking against the current the entire time while you're doing leg lifts and lifting the water weights and wearing wrist weights and stuff. Oh my God. But it was so cool because you're cooling off while you're doing it because you're in water. So like, you know what I mean? And it was zero impact, right? So it was amazing. Freaking my favorite workout class I've ever done.
That sounds like the best workout. Like, really does. I'm like, that's so appealing. That would work so well for me. And then because of the current, you must, like, every exercise, you have to, like, hold your core to be able to, like, not be pushed. So you're really getting a proper workout. That's, like, the perfect workout.
I loved it so much. And when we got done, we got to do a free ride around the lazy river. So like, meaning you could grab an inner tube if you wanted to, or you could just freely just float around the river when you got done if you wanted to. But this one time my kids kept teasing me about my workout. They were like, that's not a real workout. Like they just
no way.
And I said,
fun.
And they were little, right? So they were like 7 and 9 or something, but my girls were also small for their size. So if one was 9, she probably was the size of a 7-year-old, and the 7-year-old was probably the size of a 5-year-old. So picture a 7 and a 5-year-old telling me you're like, you know, like your workout's not real. So after class one time, I asked my teacher if they could try to walk against the current, and she goes, okay. So she let them come in, and they just went right down the river.
They couldn't do it?
Not even one little step. They just went whoop. And I was like, okay.
Gosh. So I tried to go backwards, and I just can't. I mean, I can do maybe a quarter of the way, and then I just, my feet start slipping, and I just can't do it.
It's hard. And she would sometimes turn up the, you know, because she could control the current too. So there were days where she like really turned it up, and we were like fighting. And the funny thing is, being, you know, as white as I am, when I work out, my face turns red, you know, like no matter what. Like I get overheated, my face turns red. And so it'd be like 8 o'clock in the morning. We're in this lazy river working out, and my face is turning red, and people will go, oh, Crystal, you're getting sunburn. Sun's not even freaking out. I'm not sunburned. I'm just hot. Okay, it's just fucking hot.
That's funny.
RJ, come on up. I'm willing to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I just want to talk. So it's whatever's on your mind. Come on up. I see you in a lot of atheist streams, but I don't actually see you go up and talk to anybody.
Did you celebrate the fucking 4th of July?
No, I fucking didn't. I celebrated by crying. I cried a lot. RJ, I do read the Bible. I was reading it before you got here. We read about Ada and Zillah. Do you know who they were? You probably don't, because you don't read the Bible, right, RJ? You just tell other people to do it.
I literally have 2 copies right above my head at the moment, so.
Man, I've got so many copies around me. I don't even know which one
you have
would
so
want.
many different ones. It's like I have the 2 already, which is pretty good. But yeah, I have 2 of the NRSVs, which I really like. They're so good.
Yeah, I have the NRSV. That's the one I use most of the time when we're up here. That's the one that has all my tabs of atrocities in it.
Yeah.
And then I have my parents' New American Standard Bibles. And then I, of course, have a King James. And then I have like a Catholic one. I don't know. I've got many. I've got the Ethiopian Bible. I've got them.
Who is above me on the guest thing? All it says is the.
The Creative Camper is my full name.
Oh, okay.
You can
call
to
you creative.
Yeah, everybody does.
Okay.
So do you camp? Do you still camp? Like, I mean, you made the name, you might have, but do you camp?
I do. I love obviously I think most people know I'm autistic, and one of my specific interests is camping, so I like collect camping material. I have about like how many tents? I have at least like 8, I'd say right now. Yeah, I have like a portable like wood stove I can camp with. I really love it. I actually just came back from camping. I was at a festival this weekend. So I camped all weekend and tried out one of my new tents. But yes, I'm quite creative and I do camp. So
That is really cool. I want to possibly, this is like one of my things. Okay. If people who are my age think they're going to be able to retire the way our parents did, yeah, fucking crazy unless you're a millionaire. Just telling you that right now. You're not going to get to. There will not be Social Security left. They are doing everything they can to take away all that money you put into Social Security. So you better figure some shit out right now. So we've been trying to figure out what we could like invest in that would give us an income, but we would be able to work even though we're old. Like, because you have to picture that you're 70, maybe 80, right? Like, what can you fucking do? So what I want to do is like maybe buy a small campground that has, because there's ones where the owner's house is on the ground, it is on the campground. It's usually like a double wide manufactured home or something like that. And then there's, anywhere from 20 to 30 RV and tent sites, right? And your job is maintenance and, the customer service, And so I could do customer service. My husband can handle a maintenance crew. I've learned a lot about how you take care of them. A lot of times you just allow work campers to come in during the busy season, and you give them a free space and a little, a little hourly wage, so they have money and a place to stay, and they will like run your shop if they need to, run the front desk, help keep the grounds clean and stuff. So I think it's something we feasibly could do, and we love camping. So it'd be like and he could, if we do it near a lake, he is a really good fisherman. And so he could also do like, fishing tours of whatever lake we land on,
that's like a really good plan. At the same time, if you love it, like you love it. So like camping and fishing and everything. So yeah, that sounds very appealing. Like I'd be like, I'd do that. I would definitely.
I'm not kidding. That is the best. That is the best, most wonderful. And what if, like, you could just move? Like if you, applied to work somewhere else, you could be at another national park or whatever. Because national parks do that too.
Well, I want to own it, so people would move to my campground. I don't want to be a work camper. I want to own a campground and people come work for me.
Yeah.
But the beauty is that we want to own an RV on the site too. So I can use the RV like to rent out, because you can rent it out kind of like an Airbnb or a Vrbo on your campground site. But if I want to go hook it up to my truck, and I don't have anybody booked in there or whatever, my husband and I can then also go camping at other campgrounds, go see our kids wherever they live, kind of do fun stuff like that. I don't know. I think it's a plan. It's it's definitely better than thinking I'm going to be able to survive on Social Security, because I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, and like if they come when you're not there, they could just scan a barcode and pay the fee or whatever, and have the hookups.
Oh, you could do it all online too now. It's so easy too. There's so many ways to book online, and I don't know. And I've done customer service my whole life. I'm much nicer to customers than I am Christians. Christian customers, though, what would I do? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Also, I was thinking, if I owned a campground, we could do retreats at my campground. Fun.
That would be so cool.
That would be so
cool.
fun. God's 30-foot penis. Thank you for the heart me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. It's a quiet morning, y'all.
Yeah, my next camping camping, is I really would like I have to get my driver's license. I never did up until now. I think autism and ADHD played very strongly into me not feeling confident about doing it. But I've gotten to the point where I'm like, being 40 this year. I think, I've got medication now. I'm much more aware of what's going on with me, and so I very much want to get like a van and like redo the inside of it so I can kind of
Yeah.
like, yes, because some of the festivals I go to, they're all over Europe and everything, so I could drive there. Like there's some in Hungary and Croatia, and so I have my like camping thing with me and I can stay in my van and then just drive there, and which to me is like one of the most appealing things ever. So that's my next kind of big project I want to work on, is doing that.
I
So.
want to get a Sprinter van and turn it into a little, RV, or buy one that's already turned into one, because Doug likes to pull a boat. I like RV, and so I also think that would be a really easy way for us to travel around, since it's just the two of us. We don't need a big RV. We don't. It's just two of us.
Such a hassle.
But he kind of wants a big RV, so I don't know. But whatever it is, I want to own the campground that we sit it all on. Whatever it is. We found one that I really like up in Northern California. But when I asked to see their financials, they sent me their tax returns for the past 2 years. That's not financials for a business.
Huh.
And they didn't, according to those tax returns, they didn't turn a profit. But that's not how you show me your financials for a business. And I couldn't understand why it wasn't selling, because we looked at it for a long time, for months, okay? And then I saw the financials and I was like, well, this is obviously why it's not selling. Okay, for instance, in this particular county in California, you have to purchase a, hey, genderless, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
Well, were you the one who sent me that gift? I want to make sure.
How did you know?
Because I just wanted to thank you personally. I really do. It means so much to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. But I just invite you to hang out today, too, if you wanted to hang out with me. We're just going to talk about whatever people want to talk about today.
Yeah.
We do have somebody coming up. Hey, lawn mowing kid, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
15.
Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. You cannot be up here and you're not supposed to be on TikTok. Come back when you're 18, okay?
Okay.
But for right now, you can't be here. I'm doing well, Kimberly. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying about
The
camping.
financials.
I forgot what. Oh yeah, so the financials. So when they send it to, so in order to have a liquor, okay, one of the reasons we like this campground is they have a little store on the campground, and it has a liquor license. Hey, Riptide. And so it is the only place on that lake you can get beer and wine. Okay. Well, everybody who's up at the lake wants beer, right? When they're camping and stuff, right? So I would obviously be able to make good money, right? During the on season, selling beer and wine, you would think. So in the financials, you find out that they want an extra $20,000 for that license. So it's not included in the deal already. But at the same time, they're not even showing me that the store made $20,000. Like, wait, why would I pay $20,000 for a beer and liquor license if you're not even pulling that much in the store a year?
Yeah.
I
And
don't know.
so they
were
didn't
not
have
good
like an
financials.
annual report of any kind?
Nothing. Like they just gave me the last 2 years tax returns, which doesn't show me your books. It doesn't show me how,
Your expenses.
how, Right. It doesn't show me your expenses, but also I want to know how booked you are. How much are you charging?
Yeah.
Because one of the things they do is during the summer, they sell this particular campground books monthly. Like they allow some RVs to pay a monthly fee instead of a nightly fee. How much are you losing doing that? How many spaces have you booked up like that? Are we losing nightly rate because of that? Is that why you guys aren't turning a profit here? Do you not understand how to book this place properly? Because if it's stuff I can turn around, well, then maybe we can make a deal because maybe you're just not doing your business correctly and I can fix that. But if it's because people just don't come here, then these are pretty bad financials. I don't know.
Well,
it just
I mean,
was
who
wrong.
takes a month long most people take a week or 2 weeks vacation.
And
So,
these people book it for 3 months out of a time because they're snowbirds. So they're people who are retired, who like
okay.
live, somewhere else, and then they come to California for the whole summer and spend that whole summer at that
Huh.
lake. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, but if you're taking away the nightly rent that I would get from somebody else, you know what I mean? Like if you're charging only $300 for the month to stay on that site, but each night I would have got $40 for that same site, I think you might not be doing the best business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
anyway, so we started looking, and and it might be something we do. I just think it's a good way for somebody my age to retire, have a house over their head, have steady income, and have some flexibility.
Yeah,
But
and if
maybe
they
I'm
come
dreaming.
if they come and do like a nightly rate and they decide they want to stay, then you kind of know them and you know what kind of
Yeah.
campers they are. So you can go, you can say, well, you've stayed the max, you got to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Or yeah, you can
Exactly.
stay. You know what I mean? Like it's up to you to decide. Because some of them are rowdy. Some
No, I
campers are.
know. They are. They can be very rowdy because of the
And
beer and wine that you saw.
yeah,
Freaking
and
stuff.
the walls of your RV are very thin, so you can't like get away from the noise really. So
No. One of the things
But
oh, go ahead, genderless.
what are
genderless.
you planning? Are you planning on
I'm talking
investing in something?
Yeah, I'm thinking about, because, Social Security is not going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, we cannot be planning on that shit, right? So I've been talking to my husband that we need to do something, because, I just turned 60. He's 62. We got to figure out something here so he can retire from having to do his 9 to 5, but we still have an income. Because we're not going to be able to just retire like my parents did, So, we would talk about like maybe getting a campground, because you can buy a campground where your house is on the property, and then you run the campground. And I learned a lot about how you do it. Like you usually hire work crews to come in during the busy season. They get like a place to stay, and you pay them less than what you would have to pay like a full-time employee or whatever, but they also get a free RV spot or whatever, and they work your campground for you. So it would be a way that we wouldn't have to work as hard as we retire, and we'd have some flexibility in traveling to go see our kids and stuff, and we like camping. And so we would like to live by a lake where he could fish and I can take hikes and stuff.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I wouldn't know how to manage something like that. I only manage houses that I own, and I usually have a property manager for those things. But yeah, I mean,
it's very similar. You kind of hire these couples who come in and manage the campground for you. And so it's like having a property manager. So it's very, similar to doing something like that, or to doing rental properties, but it's all on one property. So it makes it a little bit easier,
Yeah, because my properties are split, so that makes sense. And so I'm dealing with different people, and I start off with a rate for them. Usually, like one is at 8% because that's what they offer prior military. One is at 10 because they don't offer anything like that, and another one I believe, yeah, is at 10. So which is normal. So but I don't think they have to do as much other than arrange my houses to get repaired, and then I'm paying for the repairs, and it just kind of helps me not have to be there. And then they do inspections of my houses.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
they'll go in and make sure it's up to standard for me, because I'm not a slumlord. I don't like that nonsense.
Yeah.
Like I continually renovate my homes. If you're in my home, it's not going to ever be out of date, because I'm just not a slumlord like that. That's weird to me.
Yeah, that's
And also,
weird.
yeah, it's very strange. People are slumlords. It's weird to me.
I
But it's
know,
not my
that
thing.
is weird.
It's so weird. I guess if they're not living in it, they don't need to take care of it as well. I treat it as if
guess.
I'm still living there. Yeah, it's
Right,
strange,
it's
but
still your investment. And
still my investment.
that
Correct.
what just because somebody else lives in it, it's still your investment. Take care of that thing. It only becomes more expensive,
Yeah.
right?
It does. It honestly does. Like, it honestly does. It really does. But I think it's a good idea. I think that's a good idea. I think it just be cautious of, the land you're buying first. You know what I'm saying? Like, do all the due diligence on what you're buying. The perspective of prospects of people wanting to be in that area is a huge deal. I would think you would probably consider.
How can
That,
you
you know,
tell?
I'm really glad you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I think there was a delay. So, but I was just wondering, how can you tell the number of people that are interested, like in the property? Like what you just said. How can
I
you?
don't think that you can tell how many people are interested in the property, but you can tell by looking up statistics and stuff as to how many people are moving in and out of a certain area,
Oh,
like
okay.
the city or whatever that you're looking to buy the land in. Like, for instance, I'm glad Genderless said that, because one of the things that we had to look at, since we were looking up in Northern California, is what is the fire danger in that area? And our property value is going down because of fire danger. What will I be able to get insurance for the property? Because lots of people cannot even get insurance on properties right now in California due to the fires. So there were lots of things like that that I also had to look at when I looked at this specific property. I was like, okay, so this campground is for sale, but I also looked to see what else is for sale around that area. And there is another resort, like pretty much within walking distance, also for sale. Why are two major
Mm-hmm.
resort, things moving out at the same time? What about this area is making them both want to sell at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
And so, trying to think, and that's when I started thinking, could it be the fire situation? And they did have a fire up there recently. The thing is, like, to me, if they had a fire up there recently, when you've lived in California long enough, they're probably not going to have a fire in that same area for a while, because there's nothing there to burn.
Are we
Yeah.
up the street? Are we up the street from each other? What's happening?
I know, right? I
This whole
think so,
time, I had
maybe.
no idea. Holy cow! I had no idea. I was like, why?
I'm in Southern
Why is she talking
California.
about California? Why is she talking about California? Holy cow, that's hilarious.
That is hilarious. I'm in Riverside County, Genderless. But I was looking up in Northern California.
Rancho Cucamonga. Yeah, I'm in Northern.
Oh my God.
If you want me to look at something, but I grew up in
Okay,
Rancho
cool.
Cucamonga. If you want me to look at
I
something, just let me know. I got you.
I was the manager of the Denny's in Rancho Cucamonga at one time.
Cut it out. Cut it out. That's so crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy, huh? The one in Rancho Cucamonga and Hacienda Heights. I managed both of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That is
Okay.
crazy. I did not know you were in Northern California. I also lived in Lake Tahoe for a minute, too.
Okay. Yeah, I purposely,
I-
strategically came up here to Sacramento for reasons, but it had one of the
I
jobs
love
that I've
Northern
done.
California.
Yeah, it's
Northern
okay.
California.
Is
It's
it cooler
beautiful.
there?
Yes. For the most
Cool.
part, yes.
Mm.
And then you're so close to the Pacific Northwest too, which is so gorgeous too. Oh my goodness. Everything up there is just gorgeous.
I want to go somewhere cooler right now.
Yeah,
Like get in my car.
my air conditioner
Yeah.
hasn't turned off this morning.
Mine set at 75, and it seems like it's running a lot.
That's
think-
so funny. Riptide is opening a package from Rancho Cucamonga right now. That is weird because nobody ever talks about Rancho Cucamonga.
No
Thank you.
one except me. Except me.
I
It's a shame. It's a shame. No one cares.
That's so funny.
I just know
No,
one person that's lived there. That's it. And now I know two because you have.
I like saying it. It's fun to say Rancho Cucamonga.
Yeah.
It's
You don't even want to shorten it. You want to say the whole thing every time.
no, you got to say the whole thing. There, you don't shorten Rancho Cucamonga. That's such a great.
You need to put that one of your songs.
I
And
love
that
it.
could be the name of your
Because
RV
if someone
park.
says rancho, because if somebody says rancho, I'm gonna be like, what rancho? Which one?
Yeah,
right?
Like, Rancho Verde? Like, I'm gonna have so many questions. Like,
Yeah.
I need you to be specific.
You gotta be specific, especially out here. You gotta be specific. It could be Rancho Mirage. It could be, there's a million ranchos, so you have to be specific.
Yeah, my neighbor went to Mexico, and they had the little villages there named Rancho something something. Whoever the most people that live there is usually the name of it.
There's ranchos and Santas out here. Santa
Yeah.
Barbara or San Diego, San Jacinto, San Juan Capistrano. We bought a lot of saints in California. That's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know what? We were thinking about doing a coast. I don't know if you've driven the coastline. Me and Fox are thinking about doing a coastline tour next year, like all the way down. We were told to start in Oregon, all the way down to San Diego. We were like really like planning this out. It's mostly me because I'm the weirdo. But you know what I've done here so far? I've been to like all the missionaries up north almost. Like I'm just scratching them off my list. I've been to some in San Diego and in Tijuana and what's right down from Tijuana on I can't say it. I don't want to butcher this. On Santo. Crap. You know what I'm talking about. It's like it's like a
Yes,
2 hours
Ensenada.
That is. Yeah, it's reading about these people and their own missionaries would drive you crazy because they're not truthful a lot. They have this, the Catholics have this idea to not be honest about what they did. And so they have these grandeur compliments for the missionaries that came. It's crazy to read. If you haven't gone to take a trip like around these missionaries, you got to do it.
I haven't done it since I was a child because when I was a kid, they made we always had to go to different missionaries for school. Like we took field trips to missionaries, like San Juan Capistrano. Yeah, okay, so you remember. So, like, San Juan Capistrano, for sure we had to go to when we were kids because you had to go see the swallows that returned to San Juan Capistrano or some shit. I don't remember. Anyway, but, of course, I didn't really learn anything other than whatever they were trying to, make me learn as a kid. San Juan Capistrano was built in whatever. So I would like to go back and learn about them now and see what stories they told versus maybe learning about what really happened, Those are going to be two totally different stories for sure.
It's interesting. Cringy. I'm now remembering making a missionary for school. Like the two things they talked about a lot, missionaries and the gold rush. Like if you're in California, you didn't learn about missionaries and the gold and tectonic plates. If you didn't learn about missionaries and gold rush and earthquakes, you didn't learn anything.
You didn't learn. You were asleep. You did not go to school. You ditched because we had to learn about all of that. Yes. Oh man. Oh yeah, that would be fun. Have you heard of the train that goes up the whole coast? It's like called the Star. I honestly I can't remember what it's called. It's called Blue. I don't remember what it's called. I'm gonna look it up.
I don't think I
I have
have.
my iPad right here. There is a train that goes all the way up the coast on the PCH.
I saw that. It was
basically.
like a trip they gave out on Wheel of Fortune one night, and it was like a train ride, and they said the name of the company that does it.
I don't think I've heard of this, y'all.
But it was,
Where'd you
I
see
think
this
they
at?
did say they was up in Oregon somewhere.
It's called
started in Oregon?
Amtrak Coast Starlight, okay?
Starlight.
And,
Okay.
yeah, it's called the Starlight. And the full journey to Seattle takes about 35 hours from Southern California to Seattle. So you can go all the way up the coast.
Interesting.
Takes how long?
Interesting. So I take this
35
Amtrak.
hours.
I take the Amtrak from Sacramento to San Francisco all the time. Like, all the time. Like, people
Yeah.
act like you can't get to San Francisco any other way. And I'm like, no, take the Amtrak from Sacramento to to Oakland. And then I get on the BART straight into San Francisco. And I'm there within like an hour and a half. Like, no driving, nothing, no traffic, no nonsense. Because let me tell you, if I'm driving, it'll be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
If I'm driving, it will be an hour and a half regardless. So I just take the Amtrak straight down and then take the BART and then go straight into San Fran and just be chilling in San Fran like all day
Oh, that's
until
cool.
I'm gonna come back.
Okay, so this
I believe
guy.
I think this is a thing for sure. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I've been wanting to try that because that just sounds so fun. And I don't know, traveling by train sounds really fun. Like, because I've taken one, we've taken the Amtrak on purpose. We could have driven. But, like, I live in Riverside, so there's an Amtrak station in Paris, California, and so, which is not spelled like Paris, France, okay, but in Paris, California, and then we took it down to LA and went down to Alvera Street and the Garment District and did all that stuff just for like a little day trip, right? We thought, how fun would it be to take the train down there? And so we did that, and it was really fun. But then I thought, now I kind of want to take like a long trip. Yeah, that's the Paris. Paris is not as nice as Paris, France. We assure you.
My friend took a train trip.
Not even
from-
close.
No, not even close.
Well, oh,
Go ahead, Jerry.
my friend said it was a little claustrophobic. She did an 8-hour from San Antonio. It was, I think it was when they went to Mexico. She drove to San Antonio, went from San Antonio to wherever they were gonna go, and she was like, it's an 8-hour trip and it's gonna be so cool. It's a train ride. And she said it was a little odd being in such a small space for so long because you're just kind of clutched. So her review was, yes, it seemed adventurous and everything, but the part she didn't like was the feeling of claustrophobia.
Well, I would personally get a roomette, which is a small little room. So I would probably get a little room. And you can get ones that have like a fold down sink. You can get ones that have your own bathroom, or you can get ones that are a little bit cheaper. It doesn't have a bathroom. You have to use the other bathroom. But
Yeah.
I would probably get a roomette because I would want more space
Yeah.
personally. Oh.
To stretch out and relax.
I
Yeah.
absolutely love traveling by train. I think it's just one of the most agreeable ways to travel. But I think it's something either you like doing and it's something you'll take pleasure in, or it's not your thing. I love taking the train, and I like having like overnights and seeing you wake up and you see like the countryside, and just there's something quite magical about the train for me, at least.
Yeah. Hey, Randy, welcome to the show.
Hi, Crystal. Hi, gang. How you guys doing? So you're talking about travel. I just I got laid off of my job of 28 years back in November, which sounds bad, but they gave.
I didn't hear any of that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Randy.
Oh, I just wanted to talk a little bit about travel. I got laid off back in November after like 28 years, and it sounds bad, but it really wasn't. They gave me like a year and a half of severance pay, and so I decided to just. I've got a Ford Flex, which kind of looks like a station wagon, but like a box looking thing. And I threw a mattress in the back of it back in March and decided I'm just going to drive to all the states I've never been to. So I drove to 33 different states across the country. It took me 67 days, drove all the way from California to Maine and then across Canada and back again. And man, was it fun. But as part of my drive,
fun.
It was so cool. And I just like, I stopped at like truck stops to sleep, or sometimes like at parks or Walmart parking lots, and then I'd get a hotel room about every couple of days just so I can get a shower and sleep in a bed. But otherwise, I was fine just sleeping in the back of my car, and it was a blast. It was so much fun.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah, it was so cool.
It really does.
Every day to not really have an agenda, just be like, okay, I think I'm going to drive to Atlantic City today, and tomorrow I'm going to go to, Philadelphia. And it was just like, I think I'll go into Detroit from Canada. Okay, it was just like, it was so much fun. It just kind of.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was a blast. I loved it.
That's one of the like aspects where I want to have like a van where I make it into like a livable space. Yeah, the fact you can kind of go and travel that way and stop wherever, and
then I visited
best way
like
to travel.
Right. Like 5 different times I stopped and stayed with people for like a week or so, just to kind of. I saw my son and my aunt and some friends, and so it was just if you ever have a chance, whenever you are between jobs, take the opportunity to actually do something and not just run right to your next job. That's what I learned.
That sounds really fun. I out of the blue, I contacted all my kids a few months ago, and I said, I'm going to be 60 in June, and I was wondering, is there any way we could all get together, like maybe in Sedona, out of the blue? And they were like, yeah, I have it off, or I'm just starting a new job. I'll have time off too. And I was like, wait, this is all going to work. And so we just went to Sedona. We just drove out there, did a little road trip out there, and it was so fun. I really, really love traveling. I don't care if it's by car or train or plane. I like to travel.
That area of the country is so beautiful. That's part of the canyon country.
So pretty.
It's unbelievable. Everywhere you look is like a postcard. I took so many pictures of that whole area. Arizona, Utah, even part of New Mexico. It's just gorgeous.
It is so pretty. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I don't know if I'm going to get any Christians in here today, so I don't know if y'all want to keep hanging out. We can. I could try to do a restart, or I could just come back again tomorrow and or Wednesday and do it again. We could try again. But today has been kind of slow. I had 2. I've had more than 2. I've had a few Christians come in the box, but they were in there when I was doing the sermon and they didn't wait. And then I brought one up, but we kept talking, so he left. He didn't like it that we didn't stop and talk to him right away. Hi, Alyssa. You guys, yes, I have a podcast. It's called Auntie Sermons. If you haven't listened to it, you should. AUNTIE. We decenter men and we ask the women to step up and take the mic. We are doing a sermon for every woman named or unnamed in the Bible. We're going chronologically and methodically through the Bible. We just finished a sermon for everybody, all the women in Genesis. The podcast hasn't caught up to the live though yet, so make sure you check it out. There, we release every week pretty much, unless I go on vacation to Sedona. In case if I do that, I don't release it.
I really find the one you did today, and especially like without like, there's a story in the Bible of Ada and Zillah, right? But they seem like there's more to the story because of like their kids and like them representing like music and metalwork and all of these like important aspects of what humanity like developed. And so it very much feels like it's placed there, but it has like more to it. Because when you look at like even the names of Ada and Zilla and these two kind of, and I mean, Lamech seems very unimportant actually in this story when you look at it. Like, yeah, he's like just no. And then they're the mom of what's her name? Nahama. What's the
Nahama.
Yeah, Nahama. And I had gone and looked into it because I was like, wait, all the others have like this. The kids have brought something, and where's what Nahama does? And so I was looking into it, and like potentially she's like singing, and then it's just so much there, and I was like, this feels like it's taken out of place, and that these figures, these women, were so much more important originally. And you know, there's this work that's been done on fairy tales and stories of like these different kind of stories that you find throughout different cultures. And one guy has gone back to what was probably like the first story that humans told, which is what we see in cave paintings of like animals and humans coming out of the earth. And that's the story of creation, like the first kind of story. And so there's all these like stories that appear through cultures and have been told in different forms. And that one specifically with Zilla, Ada, and their children feels like something like that, like this kind of archetype story that has been told and explains how these different skills developed. And when in the Bible, it feels very much like it's lost the essence of that, especially when you center Lamech, who is just the most uninteresting and unimportant part of this actual whole story, and the descendants.
So boring.
Yes.
It's just so boring. I'm a murderer. Yay. What are you doing, Lamech? Shut the fuck up. I'm like, what? Nobody wants to hear from you. Also, like, what in the extended edition of it, I go into more of the rabbinic teaching, and that's when we learn. Whenever I look into like the rabbinic teaching and later Christian theology, or even extra biblical texts like the Ethiopian Bible, the Book of Jubilees, and things like that, we will often find that later writers also feel that these people, like, something was left out of the story. So they tried to start filling the gaps. And a lot of times they're horrible to the women. Like, you know, that I talked about how in the story about Judith and Basemeth, right? That what they did was they took their, Rashi specifically takes their names, which mean, Judith means, gosh, I can't think of what her name means right now. Praiseworthy. And then Basemeth means like fragrance, like an incense or something that smells beautiful, right? And he takes their names and he turns them into accusations against them. That the incense, the fragrance, was because she was burning incense to an idol. It never says that in the fucking story. What are you fucking talking about, Rashi? It doesn't say that. That you just made that all up in your head. And I forget what he does with Judith's name, but you know, he also tries to turn that into an accusation against her. But you never see them do that with men whose stories aren't fully, completely developed in the scripture, right? They never go, well, you know what I think Solomon's name really meant? Or whatever, right? And it's just ridiculous. They fill in the blanks for the women, but they always fill them in such a way to just push the patriarchy even further. It's just disturbing.
I always feel it feels like, you see, it feels so forced, where you can tell like it's this was not the reality of the world that, you know, where it came from. And it feels like a lot of it is forced later on in a way, when it's put down, when it's like where they focus on the men and they specifically put women in this specific place, like this way of seeing them and describing them. And it feels like it's very much forced, that it comes from something else, and it's very much kind of to cover up in certain ways of what was, and more of like, oh, this is what we wanted it to be, and then it becomes that through time. But a lot of parts of the Bible feel so like disconnected or just don't really fit, and you can see the pieces are missing, and it's just they through time to reinforce it in the wrong way, where you're like, wait, this doesn't fit. There's stuff that's missing, and it's not what you're telling us it is. Which I find your Auntie Sermons are really interesting because of that, because it really does focus again on these women and make us think about these things and like, oh wait, this is not quite right at all.
Who wrote these stories, and why did they write them this way? Who was rewarded for writing it in such a way? Here's one that the minute I read it again, I can't say the minute I read it, because as a Christian, I obviously was just, I was so indoctrinated. So I don't remember the very first time I read this, but when I read it after I deconstructed, that moment, I was like, you know what? This seems really weird. This seems really out of place. So this is Genesis chapter 6, okay? And if we go to the end of Genesis chapter 5, that's where we were like, when Lamech had lived 182 years, he became the father of a son. He named him Noah, saying, out of the ground that the Lord has cursed, this one shall bring us relief from the work and from the toil of our hands. Okay, so Noah is born. That's the end of chapter 5. But then chapter 6, it goes right into this. When people began to multiply on the face of the ground and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that they were fair, and they took wives for themselves of all that they chose. Then the Lord said, my spirit shall not abide in mortals forever, for they are flesh. Their days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went in the daughters of humans, who bore children to them. These were the heroes that were of old, warriors of renown. Then we're going to go into the Noah story. So Noah is born, then this weird little story, right? And then the flood. And people took it as this is the reason for the flood. But when I read it, I felt like this story got crammed into this whole narrative. I felt like, I don't know, like I felt like it should have been Noah was born, the world was wicked, God spared Noah, and there was a flood. But instead we get this weird thing where God's come down and raped the women on earth and have little Nephilim babies. It just felt shoved in there. So when I did the research on it, I found out that I was right. That's what many scholars actually think. That this is literally a remnant from another story that, like, some of them have described it as if a page got stuck to another page. And somehow the story got put in there. That is how poorly edited, work, whatever Genesis is. That story does not fit in there.
There's so many places where it's like that. The whole Balaam story with the donkey.
That's another one.
The story doesn't fit. And then in the middle of it, like, literally Balaam falls asleep, God gives him like stuff, and then God gets upset that he does exactly what he says to do. And then there's the whole donkey with an angel, and you're like, wait, he just sent him to do that. Why is he now like telling him no? And then the Moses one, where Moses is like going back, and then all of a sudden you've got a whole like blood magic ritual appear in the middle of nowhere, where all of a sudden God, who sent him to do this, remembers that he doesn't like, is angry with him and wants to unalive him, and his wife circumcises their son, and that whole thing also, you're like, wait a second, because God said he wanted this, but then in the middle of it he remembers he's angry with him, so you're like, wait, there's two gods here. There's not one, because
hey, Genderless wanted to say something real quick. Go ahead, Genderless.
Did I hear you say the Nephilim were the heroes?
Me? Me? No, I don't think.
Was it anything about the Nephilim or the
Well,
No,
the
I didn't say the
children,
Nephilim were the heroes.
but the Bible, what it's like the whole sentence
When
where
you
it
were reading,
says
when you were reading it,
these were the
it was
heroes
weird. It
that
was
were
a
of
weird read, right?
Oh, you're right. The
Yeah.
Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of human who bore children to them. These were the heroes that were of old, warriors of renown. And if I'm not mistaken about that part, genderless, I think that there's argument on whether that they're trying to talk about the Nephilim there or the gods who came down and raped the women. I don't know who they're saying is the heroes. Is it the Nephilim?
What?
I have
Oh
a
my God.
I have the Westminster Study Bible, and so it says this unit speaks of supernatural figures in the form of the children of God or Nephilim, mating with human women to produce renowned warriors. So it's the children of these grapes that are the renowned heroes.
That's what I always thought. It was the offspring.
That's
Which is just
disgusting.
it's
The
disgusting, and it's just
offspring of-
bizarre
okay,
that
hold on, 'cause
afterwards.
now I'm getting confused. Okay, so
Okay,
what
listen,
she
this
read,
is what I
it
looked
had
at.
two people. Yeah, it's getting confused.
Okay, hang on. This is what it said when I looked it up. Okay, Gibborim or mighty ones, warriors, heroes, and I'm gonna butcher this. Ansh Hashem, men of the name, meaning men of fame or renown. So heroes of old or heroes of renown doesn't necessarily mean they were morally good. It means they were famous, legendary figures known for power, strength, or mighty prowess. Different traditions identify them differently. Ancient Jewish watcher traditions, such as Book of Enoch, they are giant offspring of angels and humans. So it is the kids, okay? Some Christians' interpretations, legendary warriors or tyrants, not necessarily giants. So it looks like they're talking about the kids were the ones that were considered legendary and famous.
It
Okay, cool. So the kids are not the
Roger.
Nephilim then. They're a completely different group
Yeah.
of people, correct?
well, they're
Yeah,
half
so,
human
well,
and half Nephilim, I
you.
guess.
So the heroes are the kids or the Nephilim or both. The Hebrew is actually a little ambiguous, which is why this verse has been debated for centuries. That's what I thought. I felt like it had been debated about this. The question is, what does those refer to? There are two main readings. The Nephilim are the mighty men of renown. This is probably the most common traditional reading. The Nephilim are identified as the famous heroes. The children are the mighty men of renown, while the Nephilim are simply mentioned as already being present. So grammatically, this is also possible because the sentence first mentions the Nephilim, then says the sons of God had children with the daughters of human, and then says those were the mighty men. So some people believe that the Nephilim are different from the gods and the kids.
That's a lot of supernatural beings for a religion where there's only one God. I love how it's also the sons of God, and they're like, no, there's only one. We only would believed in one God. Excuse me, what? How does that work?
It's so crazy. It's just wild. And again, by the way, just because we have to stay on brand here, these gods never asked for consent from those women. They fucking raped them. They're always out there raping. I don't know how a loving God doesn't teach people consent. Like, why isn't that one of the first things? Like, loving parents teach their kids consent. You know, they'll say, don't touch people if they don't want you to touch them. Nobody should be touching you, you know? Like, we teach children, right? We teach children consent. Why didn't this God teach people consent?
Yeah, I
He
didn't
didn't
even know
care.
what boundaries were when I was growing up. I didn't know. Nobody even said that word to me. Boundaries. Personal space. I loved COVID. When it hit, I was like, I am so glad we have this 6 feet in between everybody. People need to
No,
learn
Zane,
some
it's
boundaries.
not a hate group. I'm simply an atheist, and I'm asking what's on your mind. I don't know how that came across as hate to you. I'm sorry asking a question felt hateful and that you felt attacked by me saying what's on your mind and letting you have the floor and the mic to share. I don't know how that is seen as hatred. I'm not sure. I could not put a more neutral question up there if I tried.
Also, what we were discussing is just what is in the Bible. And we're just picking
in a very
on, like, picking
specific
up on
story.
yes, and we're picking up on details that are written down in the Bible. That is, so it's just reading what is there.
But how do you get us being against grape as hate? Like, we were literally saying grape and consent. Like, we were talking about the harm of grape. How do you get us as the hateful ones? Are you pro grape? What's happening?
What is happening? Did you guys see my meme for today? Because I like to make meme videos in case you haven't noticed. But today it's this guy who can't say manipulate, and he's like,
yes,
you guys are trying to manipulate. That's what this guy's doing right now. We're really just trying to read the Bible, and he thinks we're trying to manipulate him. Abrahamic religion was all from the Middle East. Okay. I don't know what your point is. If you want to come up and talk, the guest box is open. You have to be 18 or over. Come on up and talk to us. Tell us what's on your mind. That's what the whole show is about today, Zane. You could come up and tell us all about how Abrahamic religions was all from the Middle East. I think we all knew that, but just...
Yeah, and it's not because we're commenting on the Bible, which, as you mentioned, gave rise to religion that is practiced in many other places than the Middle East, which you were telling us just before. That doesn't mean we have anything against people from the Middle East.
Yeah, what are you talking about? We're literally just talking about the Bible, what it says. We live in the United States that is primarily Christian, and I'm an atheist. Thank you. So we're just talking about that, and if you want to come up, you're invited, Zane. Come on up. Tell us what's on your mind. I'm listening. Okay, that was a Frasier thing.
He said a lot of things in these comments. I'm so confused. But you know what? I liked when you said that their deity supposedly all good and loving, and all of goodness comes from their deity. But the discussion about people having autonomy over their bodies does not come from that person, like their deity at all. Like, even the man don't have autonomy. Not that I care, because he clearly focuses specifically on all the many things man can do, but there is no focus on people having individuality or autonomy in that book at all.
None. And you want to know something really funny? As a Christian mom, I think I was already deconstructing. I just didn't know it. You know what I mean? Like, I had so many questions, and I was allowing apologetics and things to, and I was looking for confirmation bias because, you're scared to lose salvation. For one, you're scared. You're scared to go to hell. But, oh man. Oh, I didn't let my kids watch Barney because Barney one time told a little girl, she said that she was sad. And he said, don't feel that way. Like, you should feel like the way we all feel. And I was like, no. Fuck you. Being sad is a legit fucking emotion. What are you doing? And yet I was still teaching my children this fucking story that didn't even give you autonomy. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of cognitive dissonance was I sitting in as a parent?
Oh my gosh, all the people I know who who love Barney are weird. They're so straight. They're like, you're supposed to be nice to everyone and hug. And then they happen to be like some of the worst people, by the way. And you're like, what is happening? Like, what is this? It's the Barney. It's the Barney.
Yes.
It's the Barney thought. Yeah, it's the Barney indoctrination. I remember that.
It's true. And then there was another one time where they were doing a picture, like they were drawing so I saw that one and I was like, ooh, I don't like this. Then I saw this episode and then I banned it. Okay. So the next episode I saw was they were like drawing a picture. And so Barney would draw something and then you were all supposed to draw it on your paper. And one little girl didn't draw it like Barney. And they were like, no, you're drawing that wrong. And I was like, no.
No.
What do you mean?
They were not encouraging individuality at all.
I could not take it. I was like, no, you're not watching this. But I made the mistake and I let my daughter watch Kalu. But until I found out about him too, like I did not realize why she would come home acting so bratty sometimes. Kalu is a brat on that show. Do not children watch Kalu.
You mean Caillou?
It's like Caillou. Yeah, that show. I'm sorry, not Kalu. I love Kalu. Kalu's my friend. You know what's so funny is Charlene has called Kalu Caillou. No, I don't like Caillou. I don't like Caillou. That's a horrible show. That little bald child is a brat.
Yeah. There's a guy on TikTok that acts like an angry Caillou. And he does look like him.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
You should look him up. He is really funny. He's really funny.
I'm gonna look that up.
He even wears the yellow shirt to make it more like Caillou.
That's amazing.
And he's got the character down. He definitely does. And people gift him all the time. He's like, no, don't give me gifts. I don't like that. He uses like reverse psychology and stuff. But
okay, so I have to tell you guys my funny joke yesterday because I just saw it on my screen and now I need to tell it because it was a good one. It was. Sometimes I say the punniest things to Joel or Mezzo, and it's like usually in chat or something, so not everybody gets to enjoy the pun. And this one was a good one. Yesterday, Yodi was live, and Mezzo and Joel were. It was last night. They were all on his show, and he was explaining agnosticism and atheism and they were going, well, AG means like you don't have knowledge, like agnosticism so you could be an atheist who is agnostic, and they're explaining it, right? And then they said, but an atheist is like you're ignorant to whether there is a God or gods or whatever. And I said, I'm and I spelled it out, atheist and OG, because I'm an original gangster. Atheist.
Oh, gangster, yeah.
Everybody thought that was really funny.
That is really good.
I'm an atheist, okay? Anyway, you guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it for today. Go eat some lunch. Figure out what I did wrong on my extended edition of Ada and Zilla so I can fix that in here. And then I need to go record a couple of podcast episodes for you guys. But I will be back on Wednesday. I hope you guys have a great day. Is there somebody we could raid right now? Who is live on the Tiki Talkies? Let's see. Who is live right now? If I go to my inbox, I would know. Let's go raid Charlene, Auntie Charlene, okay? If you guys know who that is, let's go raid. Or go raid Sandra is also live. Go raid Sandra or Auntie Charlene. Say CrystalJae raid. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you Wednesday. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Creative, Jerry,
Bye,
and Genderless.
Bye, the Creative.